What is up? What is up, YouTube? A secret Hollywood elite party. P. Diddy, nature of evil, storytelling. Is that Dougie Corridor? Anyway, man, this coming off of Julian channel, man. Y'all go check his channel out. I thought this was very interesting, man. This was kind of like a wow, blow your mind. So y'all sit back and relax. This is gonna be a part 1 and 2. This joint is 2.5 hours long, and we're gonna do the whole thing. So y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Let's check this bad boy out, man. Give him a thumbs up also while we're here. And let's get
I thought we were going. I thought you did a slow roll.
We are recording.
I figured you'd be
the tippy top. Let's go from the
What's up, guys? If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Also, please smash that like button on the video and enjoy the show.
So I lived in this wild place in Reseda, California, where like 16 people lived there. And if you look at it from the outside, it's just a gate and it looks like damn near a trailer park in there. But rent was $350. There's a bed there. Cool. I'm 19. And there was people in and out constantly in this commune. And my roommates would change week by week. I went home for Christmas and I came home. I came back and apparently there was this girl here that this happened. And then I started talking to my friend and he's like, bro, she's been acting crazy. If she's standing in the middle of the yard, I'm standing on one foot, squeezing her fist, like white knuckling it, acting wild. And like hair in front of her face, a little Asian girl. Freaky situation, right? She's harassing everybody. This is real, man. That's real.
I want to start hopping on the Zen wave. You're on the Zen wave, huh?
I'm not on the Zen wave. I've never had it in my life.
No?
No,
I'm
man.
surprised, man.
I never did dip in my life. I never did. I'm like, that shit looks amazing. I'm not doing that. I'll be doing it all day.
Because
I'm
you're
not
a coffee
doing
fan.
that.
I figured you'd be.
I'm not a
into
coffee fan. I honestly, like, I'll have some on the desk when I'm recording, and then sometimes I'll have a midday when I'm working. But I water down my coffee now. Like,
Why?
because I don't really like. I don't like having the idea of like having to rely on caffeine. So there was a point last spring where actually for the first time I felt like I was like habitually going and making like a strong coffee like every day at like 2 o'clock. And I was like, there's no way, like coffee's good for you, but like not when you're all the time on it. That's kind of my thought. But
So you don't have a crutch with like anything really.
I try not to.
Good.
Yeah. I try not to.
I mean, you don't need it, bro. You have your crazy photographic memory and you're locked in. I mean, this guy has a brain like nobody else. Dude. He knows the episode number of what our first when I was on his podcast.
Oh, yeah?
It was, 3 years ago? He knows that. Yeah.
I'll give you the timestamp.
Yeah, exactly.
Really?
It's not even a joke, dude. It's
Too.
insane.
Yeah, but actually, right before we begin, because we have the Dougie Corrado in here. Welcome to New Jersey, by the way.
Appreciate it. It's very fun to be here. I love it. I love it here.
You know what? That's the first person to say that in a while. I appreciate it. I was losing some pride in Jersey.
This area is beautiful. Like I love it a lot.
Record this.
Yeah. I thought we were going. I thought you did a slow roll.
We are recording. Yeah. That's funny. But yeah, Hoboken's like a fun little town. There's only like 60,000 people here.
The view of Manhattan, you get to see all the prettiness without all the gross. It's fantastic.
Right. But your channel's awesome. We're going to talk about that today.
Yeah.
You're like, what do you call yourself? The story boy?
They call me Story Boy, Chop Story Boy.
Love that. So we're going to go through, like, your life is kind of interesting, too. Like, you've done some wild shit. But before we begin, I got to shout out, you probably heard at the beginning, we have a little co-host today, my man Johnny Drinks, a.k.a. John Rondi.
What's up, everybody? I'm going to take a back seat, though, today. I'm just spectating. I'm gonna chime in when I feel necessary, but it's your guys' show.
I appreciate that.
Well, John's got a great TikTok and YouTube that we were looking at before, but I do got to say this because, like, you understand, and obviously John understands too, but like when you start content, you're starting on zero. You start with nothing. You're trying to get somewhere. So I was dropping myself off for like 7 months before I had anyone listening to this thing. And about 4 months in, a friend of mine connected me with John, who had already blown up online. And he had never known me before. Drove down 2.5 hours to South Jersey to my parents' house. Sat there for 3.5 hours on camera, another 4 hours off camera.
That was the longest day. That was about 8 hours. And then, you're right, dude. I didn't even know you. I don't know what made me even do it. I mean, I guess you were the homie, or who connected us?
It was Mitch.
Was
Or,
Mitch?
No.
Was it Mitch or Fenyu?
It was Fenyu, but you knew Mitch.
Right, and I was like, yeah, of course, come by. It was an 8-hour day, and I was
Because
like,
of production or because you guys liked each
We
other?
were we were just
We were
talking.
chilling.
We were
Yeah.
shooting.
yeah,
But I want to say that because, you know, everyone has to have people who help them along the way and, you know, take a shot and stuff. And you were one of the many people to do that. But as a creator, like, you know, you're the biggest creator we had on forever, like even maybe to this day in some ways. So
I appreciate that.
I really appreciate that, bro. And now we live like a half a mile apart here. So
We do stuff like this.
it's nice and easy to be in the neighborhood.
Absolutely, man.
But Dougie,
Yeah.
tell people what your channel is. Because
Okay.
it's so unique. Like when Alessi showed it to me, I'm like, what the is this? And then we started watching it, and I'm sitting there like, it's
it
very
keeps you, right?
addictive. Yes.
Okay, so how do I explain it? I make it seem real.
Yeah.
And you can't tell which stories are real and which stories aren't because some of them are real and some of them aren't. But we don't clarify whatsoever. So if you watch one that's from my childhood or something along those lines, you watch and you're like, well,
Hey
he's
guys,
telling this. Like,
Uncle
this
Mike here with big
happened to you.
news. YouTube has changed my life, and now it's your turn. See, Uncle Mike was tired of being broke after every payday. So I decided to do something about it. So I invested over about $9,000 in YouTube courses and online coaching. Man, I was determined to change. But guess what? None of these systems gave me the one-on-one coaching that I needed. So I created my own YouTube course with the help that you need to make sure that you succeed. If you're ready to learn and you're not afraid to put in the work, you too can make a real change. Sign up now and Uncle Mike will send you the 4 videos that got me started. 100% free. Click the word more below and look for our YouTube growth system. That's our course. Now, let's get back to this video.
Fully 100% happened to me, and I'm just telling it from my perspective with a lot of emotion and attention and like eye contact, and I'm scaring the people. And then I get to one that seems a little bit paranormal, or like something like, oh, on this trip, something happened in the woods that seemed like a cryptid or something along those lines. And I tell it in the exact same manner. So they can't tell. And then the descriptions I put, this is a firsthand encounter when me and my friend Sam, who was an Army Ranger, who's just this tactical-minded guy, and who's a real friend of mine. So I just plug my real friends into these stories.
Whoa.
And then now we're in Michigan, and we touched this staircase, and now like a girl got brought into the woods by some dude without a face. And you know what I'm saying? Like it just gets a little bit weird.
Where does this come from? Like what is it in you that pulls out stories like that
Yeah.
when they're not real?
I think it came from growing up in Chicago where everything is dangerous everywhere. So you were going over every scenario in your head and like, all right, if that guy presses me, if he does this, I'm going to do this. I'm going to figure this out. And then you're just kind of like constantly preparing for days or preparing for commutes. I'm going to the loop. This might happen. I'm worried about this. I'm on the train. I'm looking around. This guy's doing this. And you start making these scenarios in your head over and over again all day. So it's like paranoia.
Right.
And then you just get used to like then it's just like how my mind operates. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you have people in the comment section like hopping on, like let's say it's a fake story?
Yeah.
Do you have somebody being like, yeah, I heard of this, like I was,
Yes.
you do,
Yes.
and they're just.
You go, this is fact. You could see it in his eyes
That's
that it's true.
insane. I
Yes.
love when people like try to pick things apart and they're so wrong, and you're like, yeah, dude, you got this one.
Yeah,
'Cause-
that was good. Yeah, that's every day. Every day.
The other thing you do is like your tone is so perfect because you're scripting these things out and you read it fast, but you're doing it like you'll memorize a line and then say it. But your tone is like bah, 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 bah. And I always think about like when I've done voiceovers, it's hard when you have to then go cut in something because your tone changed. You know what I'm talking about,
Exactly.
John. But you keep it where it's like somehow it has the perfect like iambic pentameter in a way.
Yeah. The way we do that is I'll either write or I have my girl write and I lay on the floor.
We got your girl in studio
yes,
today, by the way.
Jess. She's 50% of this. She deserves just as much credit as I
That's
do.
awesome.
I lay on the floor and she types and I speak in my own voice. So she writes how I talk. And then she says the line, then I say the line. So that I'm able to actually say it as if I'm saying it.
That's genius.
Does that make sense? So
Yes.
I'm not like writing a novel. He said this, and then we went here, and the look on his face was delicate and sensitive. Like,
Right.
no, it's like this guy looked weird as shit.
Right.
And then she'll type that out and say it back to you.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
understood.
such a misconception too. Like if you read great authors sometimes, I'll give you an example. If you read like the book The Da Vinci Code, right? If you've seen the movie before, obviously there's like in your head you're picturing Tom Hanks, Robert Langdon playing them, and you see how they said the things in the movie.
Yeah.
But then you read the book, which is an award-winning book and phenomenal by Dan Brown, and the one thing is the dialogue is not real. Like once you're picturing them saying it out loud, it's very robotic. Sometimes it's very robotic and like not how people would talk, because when you're just sitting there typing without actually talking it out to yourself, you tend to, exactly like you said, you tend to put things in a different word form.
Yeah. People will tell me to like put out a book, do something like this. We'll buy a hardcover. And I'm like, that's like buying a text message from me. You know what I'm saying? It's literally just how I talk.
Okay,
So,
you're saying it's like completely the same. That I've never done this, so I don't know. But that's such a good way to go. Because I think of almost like when parents write up texts, it's like, that's not you.
Yeah, it's formal.
Yeah, and they try to become something they're not, and like you're doing the complete opposite.
Yeah,
and that's why your stories feel so organic. Like I am just listening to you tell a 5-minute story off the top of your head.
And it's like the way I like to think about it is, sometimes you text people like your parents, and there's punctuation and capitalization and all this, but I write in lowercase with no punctuations. The people in text that just have the lowercase, and you're like, oh, that kind of looks cool. How'd you do that?
That's
I don't even know how to change it in my phone, but whenever somebody does lowercase, I'm like, how'd you change that setting? That's how we write. It's all lowercase. Yeah.
Oh, that's so smart, man.
Yeah. And it all came from stories. And he told me that you guys realized stories is what was working.
Yeah, that was when I was making the clips John, you were there when I was first doing them in February 2021. As I had one go viral in April 2021. It was good. It didn't feel like amazing. I thought it would feel amazing. I was like, okay, well, we got to make the next one. But that's
the funniest thing.
It's pretty cool.
You're like, what? No.
Yeah, exactly. I've never really felt anything when they go viral. But then I would see that I'd hit some clips, like I'd make clips with the same quality. This is like now April, May, June into July 2021. I'd make clips of all the same quality, but some would like do half watch time and the other would do 100% and go viral. And I'm like, what is this? And then it hit me. I put out 3 clips successively. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Allowed to say it?
I understand.
Whatever it is.
Talking lowercase.
But I put out 3 clips at the end of July. One with my friend Ashton Larold, and then 2 with my guy Jim Diorio. And Ashton told a visual story that went very viral. It wasn't so much a story as it was he was creating visuals that made it seem narrative, right? Okay. So he was talking about his having trouble with suicide. And he talked about how I didn't want to die, but I didn't want to be alive. It's almost like you're in a car and you're driving, but it's like, and you have anxiety, depression, all these things back there. You're controlling the wheel though, not them. So people were picturing this and I'm like, whoa. And then with Jim, he's telling a story about September 15, 2001 when he did a takedown of an Al-Qaeda cell in Jersey, right? And so he's like, so we go to the door. And I was like, oh. So I see this and I'm like, oh my God. I'd had a guy in about a month before, John Borick, who was this Emmy-winning sportscaster in Philly. And in the middle of the conversation, we were just getting lit on camera, so it was like whatever. But in the middle of the conversation, I said to him, what was your favorite part about your career? And he said, like, very seriously, he goes, telling people stories. I'm a storyteller. That's what I want. I want to know what makes people tick and how they got there.
Basically, what he's saying is, because I'm running a YouTube course, and telling an amazing story, all you got to do is put the amazing part in. Everybody can tell a story, but you got to put the amazing part. And he's explaining what makes a story amazing and how his guest is amazing at putting the stories together and the techniques of how they putting the stories together. So let's check it out.
And I thought about that. And then I put these clips together and I was like, stories. And then I went back to every clip that had gone viral. And if it wasn't a story, it painted a perfect visual that you could make a narrative. So then I started working in all the B-roll and stuff like that. And that was kind of it. So yeah, when we were looking at this, we're like, all right, this guy gets it. Steve Jobs said, storyteller runs the world.
Yeah. So when we first started going viral, I was a little embarrassed when I started to have to make ones up. And I felt a little bit weird about it because I was like, all the other ones, I was like proud of them. Like, this is, they think I'm cool. They think that me and my friends did was cool, you know? And it made me feel a little bit more unique, right? And I was like, I guess I had an interesting upbringing. I guess my perspective on things is interesting. But once they became fake, I started to get a little bit insecure about it because, you know, like I told you, like I was working at jiu-jitsu schools around a bunch of combat sports guys. It's a different vibe, you know? And I'm like, I'm making up stories. It comes off a little bit weird. But then my friend Meek, who I would
Meek Mill?
No, I can say that. No.
Who's your friend?
Mikhail Latif. He actually fights for one championship. He fought in Singapore like a few weeks ago. But he's one of the most interesting men I've ever met. He's a world traveler. He's a professional fighter. He played kabaddi in India. He's just a very respectable man that lives at a very high level. I really respect the shit out of this guy. And he said to me, storytellers were respected throughout every generation.
Yes.
You should be proud of what you do. And I was like, it changed everything for me. And now the way we approach writing, I have so much more pride behind it, because I'm like, oh, this is something I should be proud of, not something that I should be a little insecure about because I'm making shit up.
Who's your influences? Like when you were growing up, were you a reader? Did you like watching documentaries or movies?
I was an athlete my whole life. Only. Like I enjoyed cartoons, Avatar: The Last Airbender, play video games, just regular stuff. But the area that I grew up in was very blue collar, just a lot of firemen, cops, union workers, and all their kids. So then our neighborhood was wild. Like it was a good neighborhood. Like no crime, nothing like that. But the level of intensity of like the rivalries from high schools and stuff like that. There was 3 high schools in my area, and all of the kids that we all grew up together, we all went to different high schools. And then rivalry started. And we'd meet up and have massive group fights in the parks.
Group fights? What does that look like?
Massive. I'm talking build it up on Facebook, this kid versus this kid.
That's awesome.
Like, what? I swear, bro. And we knew who the tough kids were. And it was like, okay, we have this kid, he's a state wrestler, but this kid's the running back for this high school. It's going to be a good matchup. Let's build it up.
Yo, you guys had a fight club.
Yeah, and there would be no mismatches. It was like, you can't fight a guy like way lower.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, you guys had rules.
That's what I'm saying. It was respectable. There was no jumping in. There was nothing like that. But we were able to wrestle because like we respected wrestling in our community.
Did you wrestle?
I wrestled 1 year, but then I switched to jujitsu because they tried to make me cut weight, but I wanted to play football, so I didn't want to cut weight.
Gotcha.
So when you're fighting, it's all go though. You can use all limbs.
We all loved the UFC,
right?
so we all knew.
So if you tapped out, that's it. Fight's over.
Respect.
Really?
No, there wasn't that many submissions because there's a lot of wrestlers, and obviously we were younger. It was like early high school. We all became like once that phase passed, all friends again. No issues. We're like, that was sick, right? That was like, it was just all camaraderie. It was just, that's what you do there.
Yeah.
So it was just sports, and then obviously being around hordes of other guys. So you just get good at communicating and like performing in front of 15 dudes and just like talking and building personality. And then, jujitsu gyms. I was like the dude that, like when you walk in, I'm like, what's up? I'm there every day.
Yeah.
So I'm dealing with 100 men and how to like create a community and talk to men and build an environment and teach them this is how we act here. And then I perform for them pretty much when they come in. I'm putting the whatever we're watching on the TV. I'm introducing this guy to this guy. These are 2 new members. I have to make them feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I
do.
So
I just got good at communicating with people.
Got it. So it's almost like your was a stage ahead of time in a way.
Yeah, I did some sales too.
You did?
Yeah, here and there. After high school, I knew I didn't go D1 in any sports, so I was like, I'm good. I don't want to go play football. I'm not going to go play football in a cornfield. I don't care, So I saved up $2,000 at Steak and Shake, and I moved to California, and I just lived in communes and hostels for 2 years right after high school.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
You did, John. Did you see this video, The Party I Wish I Never Went to or whatever?
No.
Did I show you that one?
No.
All right, you did this video recently where I remember you put a picture. Yeah, you put a picture of the Steak Shack, or what was it, Shake Shack in there?
Steak and Shake, that's a real pic.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
That's me working at Steak and Shake. So I put pieces that are true in every story.
Right.
Yeah.
So every place I referenced in that story, I had been there and I lived there. And then there's did you see the Demon Girl one in the commune? That happened.
That
Give
one
us a
happened.
synopsis, bro.
But wait, the party in LA didn't?
Hell no.
You were fooled, bro. You
Right?
thought you had him, bro.
I wanted that one to be real.
Yeah, no.
We're going to talk about it still, but go ahead.
And I tied in things that were relevant in that time. Like that was the time of the vloggers, and I knew where they all lived because I lived in LA at the time.
So you didn't live at 1600 Vine?
No.
God damn it, I told like 6 people this kid lived at 1600 Vine.
Well, man, he's commenting.
That's
This is real. I
perfect,
know
though.
it's real.
No, that's
Is this your
perfect.
fault? Okay.
That's crazy.
I didn't live there. I lived in Glendale and Reseda and a little bit of time in Studio City and then a little bit of time in OC. And then I traveled a lot to San Francisco and San Diego.
Okay, so you did live out there, though.
Yeah, for 2 years. 2.5.
What were you trying to do out there again?
I was traveling California, going from different jiu-jitsu gym for 2.5 years, and I was just training, and I would work on a production set for like 1 week a month because my aunt is a writer. She actually was a writer on Sons of Anarchy. She's
great show.
Yeah,
Sick.
She's really great. Her name's Regina. She's the best. But she was out there. She had a little production company, and then my uncle Joe had a little commercial production company. So I'd go be a grip. I'd just go move heavy for a week, and they would pay me like $3,000.
What?
And my rent was $300, and I had a $120 car bill. So
What
I just had
years is
freedom.
this?
2015, 16, a little bit 17.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you were a mover and shaker from a young age. There's some people that it's just they can't, and this is a good thing. I think most of the time they can't sit still. They need new adventure. They need new action. It seems like you're that guy.
Yes, 100%. I can't think about things for more than 10 seconds. I'm a goldfish. I tell her, I'm like, if I forget, I'm not doing it to like hurt you. I forgot because I forgot. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just moving on to the next thing. All the stories, I always talk about it. It's like people are like, oh, how'd you come up with this? What's your process? I'm like, start, finish, publish, repeat. I do one draft, I record it, I edit it, I never think about it again.
That's it.
And I just move on.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I think short memory is pretty important in your space and our space. You know, because win or loss, you can't harp on it because now you're gonna. If it's a big win, you're like, I'm good. I don't have to make content for a week now.
Yeah.
And like, no, you do. You have to make content the next day. And if it's a bad one, you get in your own head. I don't know what to do now. Did I lose my touch? People forgot about me.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing right now. Like the ADHD mind of just like you posted yesterday. Who cares? Today's a new day.
That's TikTok.
Today's a new day.
And we stopped, like, and I felt that pressure.
Yeah,
Don't get me
dude.
wrong.
It's terrible.
And like, you know, you get the comments if one video doesn't do well, there's the really hateful person like, bro, you fell off after this story. And I'm like, I jumped ship.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm like, I jumped ship. I went to YouTube. Like, I'm not even trying on TikTok anymore. I haven't put effort into TikTok since August.
I don't even care.
I don't care. You know, like, I'm just going to build on YouTube, you know?
We're really the same.
Yeah.
It really happened that way.
We're kind of going back now because they have the new rewards program. You saw that? They're out of creativity program beta. Now they're in creative rewards program. So
And
they're
that
offering
involves
much
the
more.
long form, right?
Long form, and that was a beautiful thing because we were already doing long form. You got to look at that. Yeah.
Write that down.
Add it to the list of 40,000 things we do.
I'm gonna send you. I did off camera. Anyway.
Okay.
Hey guys, if you have a second, please be sure to share this episode around on social media and with your friends, whether it's Reddit, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, doesn't matter. It's all a and it allows us to grow and survive. So thank you to all of you who have already been doing that, and thank you to all of you who are going to do so now.
Yeah. Wait. Like now we're just doing YouTube, and YouTube sticks around. They're like, I can't wait for the next one. They buy in, you know, and they see how much hard. Like I feel like the YouTube community knows how much effort goes into each video. When TikTok's just like, you're not cool anymore. You fell off. I'm like, leave me alone. You know,
You're like, shut up.
you're stupid though.
Yeah.
You know?
John's a prototypical TikToker.
Yeah, dude, well, yeah, but you fall into like this, like you hear these comments and like you find yourself commenting back and you're like, what am I doing?
Yes.
Answering a 12-year-old just said, wow, sick views, dude. Fuck you, man. I'll beat your ass. I'll fight you right now.
Dude, I reply to comments with videos.
That like the talking to him.
Oh, you'll do that on TikTok.
Hell yeah. But they like that.
Yeah.
You know, it really bumps views if I reply to somebody who said something mean and I kind of, to the crowd that likes me, I'm like, it's crazy that I put this much effort into make quality content for you and you don't appreciate it. And everybody's like, yeah, you're a piece of shit. And I'm like, take that.
Yeah,
no,
you
you
get
get
a
a wave of mean comments, you know?
Yeah, you see how it
thing.
feels now.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Most people, they're just behind the keyboard. Like there was a situation we had in the fall, me and my buddy Danny Jones, where we were dealing with some fallout from something with someone who was just kind of an asshole. And about a week in, he was like, dude, I just realized something. This person is a YouTube commenter in real life. And we just happen to see them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit. Because then I thought about the behaviors and I'm like, wow. It's like shocking when you meet that. But the difference is at least that guy was a YouTube commenter to your face too.
You gotta respect that. Listen, you're talking to my
Hey,
face.
I respect that.
I
but
respect that for sure.
A lot of people, you know, they're just like, fuck you, die, bye.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
It's fun though. It's fun. We see them. I was just reading them on the way here.
You have to see
Wow,
them
this is
from that
interesting.
vantage point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I forget Alex Hormozy was talking about it. Like if I told you something that you knew was true about yourself and I exposed that, that's when you get very sensitive.
Yeah.
Like he was like, if you called me short, it wouldn't even bother me because I'm not short. Right?
Yeah.
So he's like, if you have an insecurity, that's the only way somebody can get at you. So you read it from a vantage point of like, I'm making content, have a good time. If you tell me that my character in this video was a dickhead or whatever, so be it. It doesn't hurt me personally.
I tend to write in a way that I kind of put myself as the bad guy sometimes, or I kind of put myself as the ignorant character at sometimes.
What do you mean?
Me too.
Like,
I do that.
Something will happen, and like I'll have this other character here, and shout out my friend Sam. I'm not gonna say his last name because his brother doesn't want me to, but he is a really cool Army Ranger guy, and he is just very tactical. He spent a lot of time overseas, and when I think of somebody who I would like to be in a situation with, I think of him, right? And I know he would do the right thing, but I need to tee up his moment of doing the right thing by me being an ignorant, immature asshole.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. 100%.
So like this happened and I go, and my first thing is to tell this person to get away from me. But then Sam goes, hey, she might be in trouble. We need to figure this out. You know, we need to gather information about this to do this. So it pushes the narrative forward that doesn't put me on the pedestal every time. Because if you do that, you just sound full of yourself. Like, yeah, I'm the hero of every story.
That's right.
I put myself as like the secondary character that's observing and they're coming with me.
You're Tobey Maguire in Gatsby.
Never seen it, but yes.
You never seen Gatsby?
Turn around.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That way.
Other
way. This way.
There we go.
Back over there. But yes, right there too. That's
Exactly.
That is correct.
Have you guys seen Masters of the Air yet?
Masters of the Air?
It's on Apple TV. It's got Austin Butler.
No.
What's going on in that?
Well, it's they're a bomb squad in World War II.
Oh,
Right?
I'm in.
It's sweet.
I'm in.
It's sweet.
That's sick.
But the narration is done by the navigator of the planes. It's not done by it follows the pilots.
That's right.
They're the heroes. The pilots are the heroes, right? But the person that's telling the story is the navigator that survived.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm the navigator.
Okay.
I'm bringing them through the story through my point of view, watching the heroes
But that's also that makes sense though, because that's what the best storytellers are. They usually are the people who are there to document what's happening, right? They're not the people actually like saving the world when they do it. And it's very important though to have that, because then you actually get that perspective and everything. But that's I always love getting into the process of how people bring these things to life. It is surprising to me that you're like, when I look at a video that's an hour, 20 minutes long with, I mean, you speak fast too, which is good. So like you're getting a lot of words in there per minute. I'm like, but this guy's just doing draft, rinse, repeat.
Yep.
Even for those long ones.
Everything. We don't think about it again. We come up with the concept, we write the bullet points, we do one draft and we record and I send it. That's it. I move on.
Wow.
I spend 10 minutes on the thumbnail. That's it. And then out. Move on, start writing. That's it.
I was like, look at that.
We don't have that experience. How long was I spending on those thumbnails last night?
But that's different. But the TikToks, that's so as far as like the distribution of it is like the editing side of it, very meticulous. Like this isn't by accident. You know what I'm saying? Like
how so? What do you mean?
Well, for the first probably 30 videos that all like 5 million plus videos. The first 30, I edited them myself. They took me 6 hours for a 4-minute video each one.
I believe that.
So that part, like the style that was built and the understanding of the socials and things of that nature and what fat to cut. Because initially I was telling them on a podcast. I would be like, here's a concept, and I would have my friends come in, shout out Abdullah and Adam. They'd come in and I would be like, hey, we're going to tell current events for 40 minutes, but we have to do one story. And I would be like, hey, here's the story, right? And I would tell it to my friends. So that's where the natural storytelling came from, because people liked the way I would tell it to somebody. And then but there would be so much fat in there. So I would have to go in, there would be a 15-minute video, and I had to cut 15 minutes into 4.
Yeah.
So it's 10 minutes of fat of me talking, and sometimes I repeat myself. Sometimes they talk over me. Sometimes they laugh over me, and I have to repeat it. So
you got to go cut that out.
Exactly. So now it's a bit easier. We're able to make much longer ones because nobody's talking over me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And I don't repeat it. So
it's good training though to have to do that, because it makes you have to be meticulous. Like, I don't know if you remember this, John, but for some reason when I was on TikTok before YouTube was starting to rip in 2021, TikTok would never send my clips if they were over 29 seconds and 20 frames.
Really?
Ever. So I had to learn how to edit, and they couldn't be too short because, then it's like whatever. I had to learn how to edit between 27 and a half and so 27, 12 out of 24, and then 29, I think 16 was the cutoff.
Yeah.
And I hated it. But then when YouTube was like, yo, if it's good, we're going to send it. Once that happened, Now it made editing 45 seconds. Like, oh, I got to get something from 5 minutes to 45 seconds. That shit's easy.
Nothing.
You know?
Nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
We would build the hooks. Like the hooks would take the longest for sure. Because
How do you find a hook?
questions, questions and moments, right? So, I probably still know the hook to the first stairs video. When I touched it, like I felt something when I touched it, and then Sam looked at me like he was terrified, and then I knew. Like then it was like I knew it happened the second I touched it. The second you touched what, right? So it's like, and Sam looked at me terrified. Why was he terrified? And
Emotion.
Then setting. Me and my friend Sam went on a hike in Michigan, and we went and did this. And as we're walking, we see a staircase in the clearing, and the staircase was a bit weird. It was clean. It was in the middle of the woods, but it was white and had blue carpet, and there wasn't a bug on it. You know what I'm saying? So then it's like, why is the staircase here?
Put you there.
So we find questions that need to be answered. That we would go every 3 seconds. There needs to be a reason for the next 3 seconds.
That's a really good way of putting it. Because
Yeah.
again, if you have a good enough hook, that video can be so fucking long because I'm staying to make sure I find out the answer to that question.
Yeah, we had like 120% retention on the stairs video that was 4.5 minutes long.
120%.
Yeah, they would rewatch it.
How many views do you
On
get?
a 4.5
That
minute
one
video.
is probably over 7 million, but then it's the second video is probably at like 9 million.
TikTok.
And, on TikTok.
Right.
And then we literally from part 1 to part 30, averaging 5 million views. I would post it at 9 p.m. and we'd wake up. We'd wake up and it would be at 1 million by the time we'd wake up, and we'd open the phone right away. Be like, it's at 1 million, so it's still going good. And then it actually died down when TikTok throttled my RPM, and they didn't let me make any more money past a certain amount that month.
Oh,
So
you were doing too good. You were
I was
beating
doing
the house.
I was doing way too good.
Wait, they did what?
I want to do well on TikTok, so I don't want to say it.
I mean, I don't know if anyone's watching it.
Okay.
I mean, Julian believes somebody's watching right now.
Well,
so.
but this is the thing, is the second I said it, they throttled
Isn't
my
that
views and they
crazy?
throttled
Yeah,
my
listen,
RPM.
all right, let's talk good about TikTok. How
Yeah.
great the
Yeah,
app
we
is.
love our overlords at TikTok.
TikTok, I'm very excited for this new program that you have coming, and
There you go.
I want to be a creator on your platform. You just need to incentivize me properly. That's it.
Little side note, they are really serious about that though. I went to their HQ in New York in October for like 8 hours one day.
Yeah.
They invited a bunch of random creators, and like they were really like, "Can you guys make long form video? Can you make long form video?" So
So somebody from TikTok reached out to you then? Or did you
Yes.
reach out to them? Yeah. I haven't heard from anybody anywhere. You guys are the first creators I've met.
I had never heard shit from anyone either, but
Yeah.
they reached out like to my agent at the agency, so
Really?
it wasn't even like to me. So I almost think it was like random, like an accident, because I can't even get. I've never been monetized on TikTok. They
What?
won't even accept my ID. So I feel you when it comes to
Wow.
like they don't even help you with that. I was sitting in there like, "You guys gonna monetize me?" They're like, "Oh yeah, no problem."
Just start
No,
making
be like,
the,
no, I'm not leaving until you want.
Yeah.
You go ahead. No, here's my account. Go ahead. You got it.
I was like, "It's just marketing, whatever. You know, we'll get the views." But
So once we got to part 12, over 5 million views every single part, they throttled my RPM, which already should have been $1. That's what they said, right?
tell people what RPM is who don't know.
Oh, RPM is how much you get paid per 1,000 views, right? So YouTube is in some cases when you have longer form content, sometimes it could be $12 to $20, right? Ours is whatever. TikTok is $1. 20.
He goes 12 to those big time creators. They're making 20. I don't know who that is.
If they're an hour plus.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes, that does make a huge difference.
Huge difference because there's more space.
Yeah, of
right. But TikTok is like the most you could get is like $1, right? We start off because I was already doing well with 1 minute plus videos when the program came out, right?
And when was that? Like a year ago?
August.
Yeah.
It was August. Or September. July. Maybe.
Less than a year.
Whatever.
Now. Okay.
Mine was already at 70 cents. And I was like, oh, okay, well, it wasn't what they advertised, but it's good enough, right? It's cool. We're doing really well, so that'll be fine. And then once it got to the 12th, I was getting 4 cents.
What?
4 cents.
So it went down
good.
96%.
Yes. They stopped paying me. I got a video with 5 million views that was 4 minutes long, and they paid me $16.
Fucking communists. God damn it.
Shut up.
And this is what I did because I just get angry, and she knew I was doing the wrong thing, but she was like, I was very upset. And I start taking screenshots of my creator dashboard.
Yeah.
And I'm literally just doing green screen videos, and I'm showing them, hey guys, this is how many views I got. This is how many were qualified. This is how much they paid me. I'm begging you to watch on YouTube. And after that, we didn't get over 1 million views on that story anymore.
Oh, they're like, watch this motherfucker.
Yeah,
the
check
other
this
thing-
out. Cool down.
The other thing you're saying here is like what do you say, part 30 or something like
Yeah.
that? I used to get shit on for doing part 2. How the
Yeah.
fuck do you get away
Yeah,
with
man,
30?
that is insane, dude.
Because I would communicate. Every single night, right after, I would call. What would I call it? What would I call it? Just like I have to go talk to them. I have to we would post the video at 9 p.m. right after I finished editing, and we had a second room in the studio. The studio that I was in the second room, and I would go in the first few comments. I would reply to like 8 of them, and I would do a full video reply. And I would just nurture it, and I'd be like, guys, I'm working so hard for you, because we were doing 12-hour days.
So that would work for all the complainers about
They
part
would
2
understand.
and part 12.
I'd be like, guys, I'm working as hard as I can. I don't have any help. I'm recording them. I'm editing them. I promise I'll get the next part out tomorrow. Just do this. And then I would do a green screen, and I would take a screenshot of my profile. Feel free to steal this. You circle what you want them to do. So you go, hey, if you want to watch on YouTube, and you circle the Instagram button, just click this, and then circle the YouTube button, then click this, and go support me over here. And we got 100,000 people from TikTok to YouTube.
Wait, back that up. Back that up. Back that up.
John's over here, right?
Yeah. Yo, bro, they hated that though. TikTok hated that.
Of course.
So I wouldn't say YouTube. I'd say, hey, if you guys really want to support me, just go to my profile, click, and I would go like this: click this, then click this, and then you'll find yourself here, where I have a plethora of stories that you will absolutely love.
This is an actual post or a story on TikTok?
A post.
You posted this.
I would do like 8 every night, and I would just talk to them.
Oh, so you're posting a shit ton.
Yeah, I would post one video, but the first video was 4 minutes. So I'm not just posting like a little glimpse. I'm posting a 4-minute, like, this is a part that we got to a really good climax at whatever part of the story we were on. And then I would leave it on a cliffhanger. So they're like, oh, come on, give me the next one. I'd be like, the next one's tomorrow. So we took that formula that like Netflix or like the old school used, like, hey, we're every Friday an episode drops.
Right.
I just minimized it onto an every night basis. So 4
So
minutes
at
of
least you're
content.
staying in front of them all the time.
Yes. And I'm just
Okay,
replying
so-
to comments all the time.
Right, so you'd be posting these stories once a week.
Every night.
Every night, these stories.
4 minutes every night.
Gotcha.
And then I would reply to like 8 to 10
throughout
comments.
the day.
No, I'd do it right after. The first people that commented would get it.
Got
So it
it, yeah,
incentivizes that first hour.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Smart.
Yeah. And then the next morning, maybe I would do like a controversial one where somebody would say something mean, and I would go, I'm back at the studio. I slept 6 hours, and I'm out here grinding for, and you're talking to me like that. So you kind of build a little controversy around it too, where like support happens, you know?
Now,
So
how are the views on the reply story, the reply videos?
I got 10.4 mil on one.
Just you
On
saying,
one
hey guys, check
reply
this.
video.
That one was when the series thing just came out, where they incentivize. You guys know this. They incentivize you using their features.
Yeah.
So
of
when
course.
TikTok Shop came out, I already had merch ready.
Yeah.
And then I sold out an entire drop of merch in 3 days.
Yeah.
This is so crazy.
You guys know this. They incentivize you using their features.
Yeah.
So when TikTok Shop came out, I already had merch ready.
Yeah.
And then I sold out an entire drop of merch in 3 days.
Yeah.
And just because I swear to you, we were the first people to put the TikTok Shop thing at the bottom, because I spent 6 hours learning how to connect the merch store to the
It was
TikTok
such
Shop.
a pain in the ass.
Right?
Oh
Through
my God.
SkillQ.
Yeah.
Such a pain in the ass.
Is that window high enough for me to jump and kill myself?
Break your legs.
Yeah.
You'd be fine though.
And then we had a bunch of podcasts already done. And my friend Sam, he did a podcast with me before where he was searching for Forrest Fenn's treasure, which is
For
like
what?
Forrest Fenn's treasure. It was this
English.
I got you. It was this philanthropist.
There you go.
Yeah, that's right.
There we go. Who he was just like really rich, and he had a bunch of Native American antiques, and he made this little chest, and he put millions of dollars worth of stuff in this chest, and he wrote a book with a riddle in it, and he said, if you solve the riddle, you will be able to find this chest, right? And he just put it out to the public, and because he thought he was dying of terminal cancer, he survived. But then it became a big media storm because people were going to search in national parks for this treasure.
I saw that. Yeah.
So really cool story. And my friend Sam went to look for it while he was in college at Boulder, Colorado. Amazing story. He almost died. He fell into like a rapid. It was this crazy story. And I had him on like a year earlier, and I just had this podcast in the bank. So then the series thing came out where you could put a paywall behind a video. So I have this story where me and Sam are in the woods, and this shit is happening. And if you guys want to put a face to the name, I actually have a podcast from a year ago that YouTube took down because it was too graphic. But you guys could pay $1.99 for it to support me and put a face to the name. And that video got 10 million views because series just came out.
Go ahead, tell us.
No. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Where do you get the time for all this?
It's psychotic.
That's all you do, though.
That's all I do.
Yeah.
She could say, all I think about, all we talk about, It's all this all the time. We work out and we do this. That's all we do.
What does a day look like for you?
We wake up, we drink.
What time?
Oh no, we sleep till we wake up. So that's a rule that I have. When I go to sleep, we try not to set alarms. It's a little different this week, but we just don't set alarm. When we wake up, I feel fresh and I could go for 12 hours straight. But if I try to do like a 6 a.m. regimen, whatever, like we don't do that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just need to feel rested. Your boy needs to sleep.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're one of those people. You're born. I have a phrase. You're born with the cocaine in your veins.
Yeah.
You don't need that shit. Like,
Yeah.
That's just there. But
And
that's
I
interesting.
love this
That's how
shit.
you start.
Yeah, I love this
Wow.
shit, and it's
Yes.
fun. And I just like working
love
out.
it too.
This gives us the freedom to work out, and then I enjoy what I'm doing. Right, so it doesn't bother me. It's like first thing we do, we just work out. We have a gym in the basement now.
Oh, you do a home workout with it.
Yeah. Luckily we were because when we started, I lived with my parents, right? And then I met her. She moved in with my parents, and
All three of us.
Yeah,
Yeah, look at that.
yeah. And she moved in. She moved in with her dog too, and it was just this whole.
So funny.
Yeah, it
That's
was-
laying down. I see what you did there.
Yeah, she was smart lady over there.
I made her actually, because everything started going well when I met her, right? Because it's direction.
Right.
I'm not joking. You're the first person to believe in me, right? So I was just throwing stuff at the wall, all this stuff going on, and I found myself trying to, because I figured out the story thing. So I was trying to have people on similar to what you do, tell their story, and I'll clip it because I didn't feel it. Kind of promoting myself kind of felt gross.
It does
for a little
feel
while,
gross. Yeah.
right? And then I met her, and she goes, "You have good stories. Do you?" And then the first one that she was like, "This story was good. Clip it and do it." And we're just hanging out in my studio. We made it. Got 10.6 million.
When was that?
A few months before the stairs, so maybe June.
Last year.
Yeah.
Was that that wasn't your first video though?
The first video that went really, so the first video that I felt like went viral got 1.1 million. I was like, I'm the shit.
Which platform?
But it was my
1.1
yeah.
million rookie numbers.
But it was my friend Hamza telling a crazy story. So it was my boy telling a story. But then that's when I realized the story thing. And then I reached out to the entire public on TikTok of 1.1 million viewers that I had at the time and 16,000 followers. If you guys have a crazy story, DM me. I'm going to send you a Zoom link. And then I'm going to have you in Zoom and I'm going to give everybody the platforms, the podcast of the people. Crowdsourcing. Wow. And I had a ton of kids call in for this one thing. I did it on a Friday. And we had like 30 kids in the lobby. Obviously, they kind of started dripping out because I was like, hey, there's a queue. You know, everybody has like 10 minutes. People start dropping out, but we got like 8 kids over the country to call in on Zoom, and I was clipping their stories. And I was just doing that because I knew the story thing was a big thing. And that did okay. But the second time I tried to do it, the hype wasn't the same, right? Yeah. And then I was like, oh, well, that was my wave. I fell off. I'm done, right? That was it. That's it for me. And then we met, we started seeing each other, and then I just randomly told a story on a pod about this time I lived in a commune in Reseda, California, and this girl started acting like a demon, right? And she started acting crazy, you know, and it was good. And I just told it from a funny, it was actually more comedy.
What was that story?
Guys, if you're still watching this video and you haven't yet hit that subscribe button, please take 2 seconds and go hit it right now. Thank you.
Let's go through that one.
So I lived in this wild place in Reseda, California, where like 16 people lived there. And if you look at it from the outside, it's just a gate and it looks like damn near a trailer park in there. But rent was $350, right? And I was like, I don't want to pay rent. There's a bed there. Cool. I'm 19. And there was people in and out constantly in this commune. And my roommates would change week by week. And one of them, I went home for Christmas and I came home. I came back and apparently there was this girl here that this happened. And I started talking to my friend and he's like, bro, she's been acting crazy. Where she's standing in the middle of the yard, standing on one foot, squeezing her fist, like white knuckling it, acting wild. And like hair in front of her face, a little Asian girl. Freaky situation, right? She's harassing everybody.
This is real though.
That's real. That's real. We extended that story. So like that concept went viral.
Creative license.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Embellishment a little bit.
Yeah. So initially that story went viral and got like 10.6. And then just like a month ago, we extended it to an hour long. Right, because we had the concept, we had the base there, and then we just extended it like it went on for a week longer, right? Of like different stuff, right? And we told that through the perspective of us not knowing it was going on, watching her actions through security cameras a week after she did all of it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes. So, yeah, that's that. Does that answer your question?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it did. That's a wild concept, though. So you don't disclose this, though. You make people guess
That's
which
the
ones are
smartest
real
part.
and which ones are fake.
The thing is, the first 10 were 100% real. So it was like, I was just standing on it. I'm like, dude, this happened. They're like, there's no way this happened.
Now we're out of material.
And then we run out of material. And I was worried. And she could say, I had the stairs in the woods in my notes for months. Because I'm like, this is going to be the first fake one. This is the first one, and I knew it because it was just this really cool concept that was from this old Reddit post 10 years ago that was like a phenomenon of these mythical staircases in the woods that the park rangers don't even know why they're there, but they just pop up and disappear randomly. So that's the concept.
There was a Reddit thread on this?
Yeah, it's called like Search and Rescue something.
Pull this up?
Yeah. It's really popular, but it was popular like early 2000s, right?
Okay.
When that creepypasta Reddit thing was going on. And my friend told me about it, and I was like, that's a weird concept. And I looked into it, and I found myself disturbed by it, one, but two, I felt like I wanted more. I felt like there's not enough about this. It's a bunch of threads. It's pretty cool. It's way too much to read.
9 years ago.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Which is also smart because now like you have reference. Like,
Yes.
It's a fake story, but people can go like, no, I saw this on Reddit too. Like it must
Yes.
be real.
Yeah. One thing that's annoying is that they say I stole this story and I'm reading it word for word, and that's not even remotely true. If it's so different, it's just the concept, and then I
Yeah,
made
you used the concept and made a story.
Exactly.
And what happened in that story? That's your most famous video.
Yeah, but I couldn't even tell you what happened. We were doing that on a daily basis. 12, like that was the hardest month of our life. Like it was.
It took a month to do that.
It took 30 days straight.
Yeah, that was like an hour, 20 minutes or something, that video.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
and people were like, "Come on, you recorded it all. We know you recorded it all." I'm like, "Bro, I don't even know what's happening next. I'm figuring out what's happening next tomorrow
As you're going.
as I'm going on a daily. The pressure and 5 million people. I'm tuning in every single night. Like next part. Come on, I know you have recorded. Just drop the whole thing. You know that they want it. They want the whole thing.
And that's why on YouTube, your videos, I like how you do that. Like in them, it intermittently, and we're going to put some on the screen a little bit, but it intermittently goes to like part 4, part 5, and that's for TikTok.
Yeah.
But you'll repeat the last line
Yes.
of the last video
We
as
stopped
the
doing
opener.
that. We stopped doing that because the YouTube people hate that.
They hate what?
They hate when I repeat the last line because I was making them for TikTok, so we just had the projects. I didn't know I was going to convert it into a YouTube video, so I just had the project file, and I would basically like we had so much going on, we were still writing, so I didn't have enough time to like redo the editing and resize and take out the hooks of each one to make it just like
I
that.
kind of like that though. I fuck
Yeah.
the YouTube people. I kind of like that because it resets the deck and it goes, wait, that was a serious moment. Like
Yeah.
if you're just kind of working
Yeah,
while
if
you're
you're zoning
listening to
out,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, some
It's
people
hard to
loved
zone
it.
out with you, but still.
Yeah. Some people loved it, but most commonly on YouTube, people talk shit about it. So our pinned comment is a very petty explanation of it because I was sick of getting those comments. Yeah.
Now, when you say, because I know like your first ever post was on TikTok.
Yes. Yeah. I knew TikTok was. So I have been obsessed with the content for a long time because I knew it was the biggest opportunity of our generation, right? And we all know that. That's why we do this, right? I didn't like the idea of but my only other options were probably be if a firefighter, if I get a good number on the test, or a construction worker or something like that.
What'd your parents do?
My dad's a teacher and my mom was an accountant.
Okay.
So
Standard.
It was standard, but I have parts of my family that I really like. I latch on to certain family members that were very high achieving. My uncle is Pat Riley,
Wait, like Patty Rings.
Patty Rings, like
That's
every
your
finger.
uncle.
That's my
is
mom.
that like your uncle, or is it
It
like
is my grandfather's brother. It's my grandfather's little brother. Yeah,
Okay.
and I grew up with my grandpa.
So your grandfather's the older Riley.
Yes, he's Leon Riley, who's in the NFL, gangster.
What?
Rest in peace. He's my favorite man in the world, Leon Riley. His little brother is Pat Riley. And when I was a little kid, I have vivid memories of going to games and Pat Riley holding me and walking me around stadiums, and the center for them at the time, like pulling down the net from one of the games and giving it to me, going on a limo ride with Pat Riley and feeling that. And
Gangster.
I was a kid and I was like, this is interesting. You're important. This is like, you're a high achiever. And I felt that. I don't talk to him much anymore. He's fucking Pat Riley. I haven't talked, I was in he's the president of the Miami Heat now, winning championships. I was growing up in Chicago.
He's one of the goats, man.
Yeah. But very high achievers in my blood. So I would read his books and I'm like, I want to be like you, or my Aunt Regina, who was writing in Hollywood, Sons of Anarchy, HBO, Showtime, Netflix. She's a gangster, dude. She's and she's a writer. So she's somebody I go to a lot for what we're doing right now.
Yeah, especially for what you're doing. Christ, right
It's
there.
very interesting. She's very proud because for a while she was like, nobody understood what I was doing. No, the older generation doesn't know what we're doing. Right. They don't understand what we're pursuing.
How long have you been a content creator, like officially as your full time?
Well, I was poor, so I didn't have the money to get any of the equipment, but I wanted to be since I was about 18. you know? And I knew I wanted to do it. And I watched Rogan when I was 18. Like I would just be watching him. I want to do something like that.
How old are you now?
I'm 27.
Okay.
Yeah. So I knew, but at that time, that generation of content creators, I didn't like them. I felt like it was really low quality content. I felt like every joke was at somebody's expense.
Like
I felt
the vlogging era kind of thing?
Yes.
Dobrik's of the way, and that was like when Vine was popping off. So it was the 6-second clips of just people being dumbasses.
Yeah. And the polls coming up, and like I have nothing against them whatsoever, but it's like when I would see that time of like how they were acting, I didn't like it. I didn't want to be affiliated with it.
Yeah.
And I knew the higher production type of things, I wanted to be a part of that. And I knew that would just take time and me saving up money and buying equipment here and there. And then during COVID, I was, I've been working at jiu-jitsu schools for a long time, and COVID happened, and then I started getting unemployment from them. And then crypto happens, and I crush in crypto.
Yeah. There's something in there.
Yeah. And
All right, define crush it in crypto.
I just knew I was, bro, like everything, I'm sure you guys do this. I'm prepared. When it's happening, I'm like, I'm going to figure that out. TikTok shop, new feature. I'm connecting Skill IQ to this, and I'm selling something the second it comes out.
Yeah.
I'm studying crypto. I have external wallets. I have everything. Like, I need to learn it.
So you didn't lose all of it?
Yeah. No, hell no.
All right, good.
I got all my stuff.
Good for you.
Like I immediately reinvested it in myself, but I didn't have anything. Like I was working at a jiu-jitsu school. I was wiping mats, saying what's up, signing people up for jiu-jitsu and traveling, and just like I didn't have resources. So the second I had resources and I was able to get the stuff I needed, 1 year later, I'm where I'm at. So it's just a lack of resources. It was just a lack of resources. That's it.
Yeah, I understand your conundrum completely. I mean,
I could tell. When I look at this, I go, "You're New Jersey me." Yeah, like.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, cool. Like I relate to you so much because I see this. I'm like, you did this all yourself. I could see how you and him, of course,
got some help along the way. That's the thing. Like, I've been working 7 days a week for over 4 years now.
Yep,
it's getting old, and it's starting to affect. It's starting to affect my quality of life, to be honest with you.
100%.
There's been a lot of other stuff going on too. But yes, for when I started working on this March 2020, from March 2020 till the end of April 2023 was every single thing down to every comment done by me. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yep. And then we brought on some shorts editors. That's where Leslie started. And now he's picked up more and more hats because we've added a lot of hats too as we go. But if you go to those 3 years though, nothing ever truly happens alone. Mm-hmm. You need a guy like John Rondi to come down on a Monday in January 4th, 2021 and fucking
there it is.
Do the damn thing with you, right? You need your parents in this case. This was a huge benefit I had that it appears you had and you had as well. When I turned down my contract to decide like, oh, I didn't want to do that with my career and turn down all that money, my dad and my mom let me move in and build the studio there. No rent.
Yep.
Most people don't get that opportunity. It doesn't happen without them. Doesn't happen without all the people who come through there. Doesn't you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yes, there's the part of it that we build ourselves and we grind, and most people will never see it or appreciate it. I'll admit, recently, out of nowhere, I have started to take some offense to when people talk about overnight success with some stuff.
Oh, yeah.
With me, and I wasn't taking offense to it, but I realized the other night, like, now I'm starting to take offense to that shit. So, like, yeah, it doesn't happen that way, but it's a beautiful process for it to come together because you see everything that went into it and the people that also made it possible with you. So, obviously, I'm looking at that right now, too. We got a perfect example. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, that's really cool, and I appreciate you saying that. I take pride in us building this thing bootstrap.
That's why I like this. Like I'm saying, I feel like we're in the same generation of content creators.
Right.
It feels authentic. I meet you guys. I'm like, oh, we're doing the same thing. This is, you guys have done this the same way I've done it, opposed to the earlier guys. Like I said, that like when I was younger and I'm looking around and I'm like, I don't want to put out a video where the whole thumbnail, the whole concept of this video is humiliating somebody they don't know.
That's right. Yeah.
It just felt so disingenuous to me. It just felt like, I just don't want to be a part of that. I don't like what you guys are doing. Yeah. You know, I like connecting with people. Like clearly I'm a cheery guy. I'm like I'm not hard to get along with. You know,
you're so hard to get along with.
You know,
tough conversation.
And I would just see that, and I'm like, I want to be like of course, like there's like the Brian Callens, you know, Fighter and the Kids, like these types of people. And I was like, oh, they do group pods. They're friends. Like they make content, they hang out, they monetize it. And I saw that, and I was like, that's wholesome. That's what I want to do with my friends. That's cool.
Yeah,
I want to do that. I don't like the clickbaity, we're making fun of this person during this.
I'm with you. When I was going through for about 6 months from March until I launched publicly September 2020 that year, I didn't tell anyone what I was working on.
Yep.
I did it all day, every day. And I would go through, I'd study every piece of content, not just podcasts and stuff. But I had never been into the vlogs. I knew who these people were, never really watched them. But what I would do is I would watch how they made the content, and I'd be very impressed with the skill of what went into some of that. Some of them not so much, but some of them were like very well put together, whatever. But I had the same thought where I'm like, this isn't real.
Yeah.
This, like, I'm all about, you know, it, and I've talked to you about this a ton, and you a lot. Like, if I had to walk in here and change who I am as a person, it would never work.
Yeah.
And it felt like in vlogs, it's like, it's not really.
You ever see a vlogger in person? You ever see a vlog? It's cringy.
I've never seen it.
Dude, it is. I'm not even gonna say that. Like, I was with a streamer and like watching them go. It's like, do you even like yourself? Like, is that that's gotta be a hard persona to keep up with. But I noticed that too. Like, the best vloggers, I think they're some of the most annoying people because they just ramble and they can talk for days and days, and they have that's a skill that other people see and like, that's fucking annoying. I can't be around that. But they're leveraging that to now getting millions of views on whatever they're doing. So like, kudos to them, but I agree. Yeah. It just feels, you got to keep in mind, they blew up when making content was uncool, right? So all you really had to do in high school, if we all said, fuck it, we're going to make 6-second videos and we don't care what our friends think, we're going to be viral creators. We could have done that, but everybody around us was like, no, that's just not the cool thing to do.
Right.
Now we're playing in a space that everybody wants to be a creator. Nobody wants to be anything but a creator right now.
When did that happen?
It happened when people realized, holy shit, I get paid $50 grand to post a picture. Like, what the fuck?
Money?
Yeah.
That's what's
It
happening.
was money. They're going to parties with athletes. They're going to parties with celebrities. And like, now they are the ones that are getting in line. They're cutting the line before everybody else. So like, they are the new cool kids on the block.
You know what I noticed? The feeling of the people on Instagram are very different than the feeling of the people on TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
Because Instagram are mostly people our age, maybe a little bit older, and they're fully aware of the monetary benefits of this. So they're much more stingy with engagement and stingy with follows.
They are, dude.
Opposed to TikTok, they're kids and they have no idea what's going on. They're just like, I like this guy, comment, follow. And I feel like there's an undertone of resentment on Instagram.
That's a really good
point. I think you're 100%
right.
right.
I never really thought of it. I never thought of it like that. But you post an ad on Instagram, it's like, boo, you sold out.
It's like that on Facebook also for the older generation. Yeah, it's like that on Facebook also, man. It's like on Facebook, it seemed like everybody just posting about themselves. Look at me. Look at me. Here's my new selfies. Look at me. I bought a new car. Look at me. It's all about me. It ain't even about the money and likes. I want all my friends to see what I'm doing right now. Yeah, so it's interesting the way they're looking at how to turn this into money, man. And I'm doing this. All this is for my YouTube course. Yeah,
I'm doing this for a fucking living, man. What do you want me to tell you? Like, well, I'm supporting a brand that I like. You know?
People put their fake world on that too.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I would never do that.
There's such a aesthetic, you know, feel to Instagram and stuff. We've all been caught up in it at one point or another. But there's people who live on that lie. Yeah. And on TikTok, it's only video. Like, obviously, YouTube, Instagram's moving to a lot of video stuff now, but a lot of people still post pictures and stuff. On TikTok, it's like, you can't really hide in video. If you do, you better be acting, and you better be good at it. And there are people who are, but I'm saying, like, the average person can't. So there's more of a feel like, also the app launched off of the backs of 13, 14, and 15-year-olds. So in people's minds, it's wired as like, oh, the fun kids app. I can do what the fuck I want here.
Yep. One thing I really like about YouTube is that I feel like they have an understanding of how hard this is. And I feel like they appreciate it. And when
you say they, you mean your audience?
Yes. Okay. I just feel like people that watch YouTube in general, you know, obviously there's some mean people, but they could look at what you're doing and they go, wow, this is well put together. TikTok is just, wow, you entertained me for 2 minutes. I like you. You're somebody that I think is cool, right? And usually because they're younger, right? Instagram is, I resent you for pursuing this. And you know what I'm saying?
It really is like a small niche of people that don't fall in that bucket for some reason. Where like people are happy when they post it and they love to support, and then everybody else would like, I talk about the fitness space all the time because it's grueling, and I genuinely feel bad for those people.
Yeah.
Because now you live up to like, I need to have abs to be happy.
John,
and get
pull that
views.
mic up a little bit.
Sorry. So you have like these like individuals you can probably count on one hand of like guys and girls that when they post, everybody loves, and then everybody else trying to chase those people are just shit on every time. It really is a shitty scene.
You know who's doing an amazing job in the fitness space?
Sam Siller.
Yes. Yes. Joey Swole. For
Nowadays, I haven't seen him.
So Joey Swole has obviously he's jacked, right? And I'm pretty sure he's from my town, but I never met him. But he has changed his content to correcting behavior in gyms. And he's absolutely jacked.
I've seen this guy.
Yeah. He's absolutely jacked. He was very big on YouTube, but he was a fit influencer. But then you have the people that do the vlogs like Bradley Martin. He has comedy mixed into his, of course.
Yeah.
And his are more vlog style, just very more like natural. Joey Swole is just a fitness guy, and now he's like, you can't be like, somebody will record somebody making fun of them in the gym, and he stitches it and goes, the gym is a safe place.
Yes.
And you need to like,
I've
at least
seen
he's
this,
there,
yes.
you know?
So you're a fan of him?
I just think it's cool that he like the issue that fitness people are running into, he pivoted to, I'm the jack guy in the gym, and I'm actually super nice.
So, and I don't know the guy, but I will combat what you're saying. But number one, I think the message is appropriate and right. That being said, Joey Swole was the guy that, remember what Shreds was?
Yes.
So he's a Shreds athlete. The company
I met the founder of Shreds.
He lives. Yeah. So the company was known for kind of falsifying what they were selling and then having the first ever photoshopped athletes. Like that was their whole thing. Where like once they started exposing the guys that like, hey, that's a fake picture, everything kind of fell through. Now this guy I do feel is a bit performative. Like I think the messages, I get it, dude, but you're not that nice of a guy.
No.
And people say that a lot. Like he's not as genuine and like, hey, so great to see you as he seems. And I think he is playing off the fact like he knows this is what does well now. Let me go run with that.
And what I'm saying, I wasn't vouching for him personally. I was saying he recognizes the trend of where he's at.
And he's doing it. That's smart. It's smart, man. Like,
Yes.
oh shit, I can now be the good guy and get millions of views.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, I'm doing that.
Yes. Yeah. 100. Yeah.
And like, at the end of the day, the message is appropriate. Like, be nice to people. In the gym.
I feel like the early content creators really took advantage of their audiences, and I feel like that's where a lot of the resentment grew because this supplement makes me jacked, and then 5 years later,
all your weight. Yeah.
Minus the trend that I'm taking, but everything else,
Exactly.
It's my fish oil.
Because again, also when they were coming up, it was pictures only, so they could do all kinds of damage, and we didn't have all the Photoshop police like we do now.
Yep.
Right. So, I remember doing a podcast early on, one of the solo podcasts. I did like a 3-part series going through influencers and just researched it.
That's smart.
And I was like, kind of, some of it I had missed, other parts of it I had been very aware of that was going on, but I'm just like, what, I'd like to think, I guess I can't know unless I was there, but I'd like to think that there'd be something in me that before I press send on some of these things about like, this is going to make you lose all your weight pill or whatever, I would have been like, well, this is bullshit. You can't do this. Like, because I care about what I look like to people as far as like being someone who supports things that are not scammy and stuff like that. Like, how many brands, unless you've seen it, how many brands reach out all the time? And I'd love to take their money. My God. I feel like it's all the shitty brands that reach out. But they're reaching out with like some scam like crypto NFT or something. I'm like, no. We're not doing it. You know what I mean? Because you only have who you are. And once you lose that,
it's
forget.
It's like an interesting strategy of like, if you have a really core audience, right? Like let's say you had a Discord chat and you had like code words to be like, hey, look, I'm going to make money on this ad. Don't buy it. I'm gonna use these words in my ad so you know this is fake. And then you say those words in the video without having a wink, and everybody else knows, but the brand's like, we just got so many clicks.
This.
Yeah. You should totally buy this and then say some dumb shit. But that is the problem. It's like the combination of like, we're doing this for a business, and I'm sure I've sold things that aren't as genuine as I would like them to be. But when you get caught up in the moment, like you don't really. Not that you don't care, you lose sight of how impact. I was telling this story the other day. We used to sell smoke kits, like little smoke boards, because smoke burns and stuff like that. Yeah. And in the beginning, I would go to Home Depot, buy a ton of like little wood thing, like pallets, and then wrap them up in like styrofoam and fucking sell them. It was ridiculous. And I was getting comments of like, what kind of wood is that? And I was like, I don't fucking know, pine. I must have commented Pine 1,000 times until my dad is like, why do you keep saying Pine? And I'm like, I don't know why, who cares? He's like, Pine is toxic. You can't fucking burn Pine. You're not, because it's finished.
Yeah.
He's like, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, holy shit, I may have just ruined somebody's day because I didn't take the time to really care and do the research on what I was actually selling.
Careful.
Yeah, you do, because you're young and stupid.
I just realized something.
You're like, oh wait, I sold Pine too.
Yeah, I just realized something in real time when, because sometimes you're doing stuff and you don't realize what you're doing, but you're trying to justify to yourself selling something. We had a really good connect for our merchandise. A very good friend of mine, his family owned a retail store at Navy Pier in Chicago. So they had connections to printers and manufacturers that we were able to get orders of very high quality garments for retail price. And I was like, you know what I think would be really cool is if I get the highest quality heavyweight hoodie that I can. That's $28 per unit. We're not going to make that much on it, but I could say, look at this, and I would show the screenshot of the website. I'm like, this is how much each one of these costs. This is the thread. You know that this isn't just a middleman merchandise. You're getting high quality hoodies from me. You're gonna have this forever. And then I would record videos at the print shop that was right down the street from our gym. I'd be like, look, I'm here during the printing process. And I just thought it was cool because I was in the middle of making merchandise, so I was like interested in it genuinely. But looking back at it, I was showing them, look, I care. Look, this is high quality.
Smart. You know who Saul Hank is? Do you know Saul Hank? He makes the sandwiches. Fucking phenomenal.
Yeah. Saul Hank?
He every video he slaps bread down, smears the sauce on the bread. Like that's every video, and it works every time. And he's consistent. So I'm sure you've seen it. But anyway, his strategy right now with his Saul and his book is very genuine, and it makes you feel like you're part of this. So he'll open up a video on a story and be like, guys, I'm super nervous. Like, please, I hope this goes well. Please support me. And now you feel like, oh, I have to be a part of this. Whereas like sometimes people go the opposite route and be like, we're crushing it. Another launch. Here you go. Go buy this because this is the best. He's like, no, I hope to God this goes well because the last 10 did not go well. And then you buy it. It could be all fake. That could be like a persona he's putting on. But he's crushed. He's doing a great job.
Yeah,
he seems like the homie,
Yeah, because that's the other thing. A lot of people they feel like they have to put on this like facade of like constantly like things are good or whatever.
Yeah,
there is something I've always felt like in being somewhat honest with the audience, like, hey, we're not doing as well right now, or hey, we got to improve this, or this thing's going wrong. There's some things obviously that happen behind the scenes that you can't really talk about publicly, which sucks. But I've always felt like, hey, I'd rather people know I don't own a couch yet than, think I'm fucking, balling over here.
Yeah. I tried this thing where I would have people in the audience send in designs, and I would feature the artist who made the design, and I would put it onto the hoodie. And
that's cool.
It is really cool. No one bought any.
Oh, and not too cool.
And not too cool. I thought it was super cool. But then TikTok stopped showing my videos to people because I exposed them, which sucked. But now I have 400 hoodies in my closet at home.
Oh, no.
And now when people ask, like, oh, can you please make some merch? I go, there is some. And I tell them the story of the tragic, I used all of the profits I made from the first merch drop.
Pain.
And then I did the second one.
Right there with you, man.
And
there's like 500 mugs outside that door. Please go fucking buy
You want a mug?
The link is literally on the video. Who do I gotta fuck for a mug sale?
Please, Christ.
And they go, I just don't really like this design. And I'm like, I feel you. I was just trying to put a young artist on, like trying to make this like movement of young artists, just trying to like, I just think it's cool sharing your platform with people that aren't expecting it. Just because it's just like giving somebody that moment of they've been grinding, learning how to design things, and they like my stuff and they send it in, and I go, bro, I'm putting this on a hoodie and I'm selling it because you're sick, keep going. Because how much that would mean to me at that time. You know what I'm saying? And I was planning on sharing the profits with them, but we didn't sell. There was no profits.
Oh, so you're genuine. But
it's like
that
a
story
guy.
is like really,
that's
I had this whole thing where I was like, if we sell these out, I'm gonna FaceTime this kid and I'm gonna tell him. I didn't tell him.
That's sick.
I didn't tell him ahead of time, and I was like, I'm gonna FaceTime this kid and I'm gonna be like, bro, you got 15% of this. This is how much you got. What's your Venmo?
Damn.
And nobody bought it.
That story though is like so close. I mean this in like a genuine way. It's like so close to being on the right side of the coin.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Where like you're only one more idea away from that being the reality. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever happens next, that genuineness and that like creativity of selling, that's how I feel like big name artists. Like I was in an Eden Gallery a couple days ago, and I saw Alec Monopoly's pictures all over the place. I'm like, oh, how much is that one? She's like, oh, 100 and some thousand. I'm like, how do you get there? You know what I mean? Like, now your name is so well known. And I'm sure there's like little stories like that that are just so cool that now he hopped up and up and up steps, you know? Yeah, his stuff is so sick.
I've seen
I think a
stuff.
parallel to that is Russ. You seen how Russ went about it?
Exactly.
I watched this interview with him. He's really cool.
He was just on Flagrant, I think, a little bit ago.
Yeah,
right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
He was talking about having a catalog when people find you,
Yeah.
right? And the idea of having a big, massive body of work that nobody's ever seen. You make them feel something one time, but now there's all this. And I used that.
Yes.
I built playlists on TikTok. You guys know the playlist feature, of course. And I had like when a video would go viral, I would go, hey guys, if you like something like that, all you have to do is go to my profile, click this playlist, and there's 40 videos just like that. And I would turn one view into 40.
All right, I've been doing this one. I'm on this
That's
one.
smart.
Yeah, I've been doing this on YouTube. Yeah.
And this goes back to TikTok, which is it's probably gonna piss you guys off even more about TikTok. They nerfed that because I crushed doing that. Because
What do you mean they nerfed it?
they nerfed it? Do you know what nerf means? Like the Call of Duty reference, nerfing something. Basically, they said new stipulations to creativity program. You only get paid for views that are on the For You page.
Get the fuck out of here.
Come
You guys see that?
on.
That's why they say
So
like
you don't get paid if someone goes.
To your profile.
They're hurting over there.
Yeah.
President G's not happy.
that's crazy. I love that term though, by the way. Get nerfed. I fucking love
Yeah,
that.
they nerfed it. I was like, oh, this is perfect. I have these playlists, and I would see it happen. I would
Wow.
send them to the playlist, and boom, every video you see your activity page, and everything starts going crazy, and I'm like, oh, we turned
We're rich.
Yeah, a 5 million video. We have one video that goes 5 million, and we actually got 30 million views because of it.
That's awesome.
Right?
That still helped for your brand though.
But
Like,
then-
overall, you know.
Yeah, 100%. But they nerfed that, and then they also the following tab. You don't get paid for that either. So
What?
Yes, bro. So this is why we had to jump ship, because it's like I made a whole thing that because then there's the angle of like, hey guys, I'm trying to like you give them a goal. You guys are in this with me. I'm gonna keep posting every day for this. Can you guys help me get to 1 million followers? I'm trying to change my life. I'm trying to support my family, right? And they get you there. And then TikTok goes, now you don't get paid for the people that support and watch you. So it's only for you. So the million people, we should be getting 1 million views on every single video we post and get like, if they want to throw out of the RPM, all good. Like you want to give me 50, 30 cents, that's fine. At least I have stability.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
They follow me, and the people that want to see my stuff, I don't get paid for the people that want to see my stuff.
That's so ass
wild.
backwards.
It just doesn't make sense. Again,
Because your whole business, John, like you have the greatest setup ever. Because pretty much, you make drinks and then you hit up the alcohol companies and say, "Hey, we're making a gin and tonic. Who's got the highest bid?"
Yeah.
So it's an ad without an ad. But like if
Wow.
you're working on telling a story that doesn't have like a product placement in there, you're living off that kind of money.
Luckily, now they're like, that was an issue because the brands they're like, how do we fit this in here? How do we do it? And I was like, I could say I was drinking this water, I was drinking out of this mug. I could plug it into a story, nobody would notice. But the brands don't see that. They don't see that angle of it.
They don't let you just like, again, you're drinking water and say, mid-story, this video is sponsored by blank, and then move on.
No, because it would crush the pace of the story.
It would.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's true, man.
Because
That's
it's
what.
immersive.
That's
My
the
stuff's very
problem we have.
immersive.
It's
Right?
very immersive. Yeah.
I'd be so curious to see like a drop-off line as soon as you're like, this video is sponsored by.
Yeah, we never did it on TikTok and then there's also like the brands don't respect. Like I'm sure for you it works, so they're like, oh, we'll pay you a fair rate.
Yeah.
For us, they're like, we don't see how this is working.
It's not organic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But on YouTube, it's we're lucky now because we we have a Doberman Pinscher, and we'd be like, hey, we have this dog who's kind of like a badass looking dog food companies. This is part of our life. We could push this. This is like wholesome stuff that's in there, and I get to record a video with my dog.
There's also there's a bigger expectation of that on YouTube where, it's a longer form video. Maybe you're
it's
doing
coming.
a 15, 20 hour minute video or something. They have to pay for this somewhere in there. And people have, like on YouTube, they're clicking it. Mm-hmm. They made this decision. They went to a whole fucking new page and they're there.
Yeah.
Now on mobile, some people will click off. Sure, you still have that. But on TikTok, the algorithm god clicked it for them. And the minute that they're not entertained, doop, doop, doop.
And I'm sure you guys all notice it too on TikTok. I've stayed with the same shtick if you guys have too. And I'd have to drop like 3 to 4 seconds now every couple months because that's how bad the attention span. So I used to start with an intro like this, I'd add some flair, I'd add this, and now I have to cut all that to go right to the main.
Yes.
Like you said, you have a really good hook. Maybe it's a picture for me, like a nice looking cocktail or a question I have. And then all the bullshit that I used to put in, I can't even, my dad drops a spoon. I used to keep it in it because it's kind of fun. I can't even have that shit in there anymore.
That's right.
It's fucking insane.
Yeah. I know when one of your videos is gonna go before it does, because I'm like, well, how quick were they into it?
Yeah, dude. And I know it's fucking. I threw my dad a banana the other day. I was like, "Hey, can you make me a cocktail?" And he's like, "Let's make a blank." And instead of me going and saying, "All right, Dad, you're gonna make me a blank. Let's do it," I cut all that and I got right to the scene of him chopping up the banana. Like it has to be that quick right now, and it's insane. I'm sure you guys have more pressure for that than me.
I'm going completely against that.
You are.
So I am now taking. So a lot of the stories, like we have the full long ones, right? They're an hour long. Obviously, the minute is the limit is 10 minutes on TikTok. But sometimes we do 3-story compilations that are 8 to 15 minutes ish. They add up to 45. I'm just taking that full story and we're completely reconverting it into a TikTok tall, and I'm posting 9-minute videos.
Yeah, but hold on.
I don't even care.
Alessia, can you pull up my YouTube page real quick and hit popular videos? I want to. I think I know why this is. So, John, when you're doing these things, they tend to be an acted out scene. It's not someone up on a mic, up close like that. There's a scene. There's more for people to process. There's more people in it. If you look at our most popular videos of all time, I'm going to look at these first 8. Sean Ryan right there, number 2, doesn't count because Sean is an enormous YouTuber, great guy, by the way. Everyone check out his channel, and promoted the fuck out of this video and made that go, and it was an incredible episode. But if you look at the other videos, Paul Rosalie, Joe Tedeye, James Fox, Matt LaCroix, and Andy Bustamante represent the top episodes. What they all have in common is they all speak quickly, and they all have massive charisma. Now, James Fox sometimes will speak slower, but he has massive charisma. Yeah. Oh my god, you have to see a stick like that. So anyway, so he keeps you because he's like, and Alessi's laughing because he made Moment of Contact with him down in Brazil, so he knows it up close. But like, all these people, they have a way of drawing you in. You have that same exact thing. So when people hit your video, you talk very quickly, but you talk well, you speak well, and you have charisma to your voice. You have a way of doing these scripts where, and I was talking about this off camera with you, but you do these scripts to where the tonality works. And I know you're doing line by line and remembering what the line was and then going with it. So it's like you're doing them all separately, but it sounds like it's continuous, which is very, very hard to do. So when someone is clicking a video with John and his dad, and they're clicking a video with you, these are two very different. And same with Click of Mine. They're very, very, very different content strategies. So you can do something where, like, okay, you have that opening hook line like you talked about earlier and laid out how that is, and then lay the patchwork because you're also like eyes right there looking at him talking.
It's funny you say that. I don't wear glasses when I record because I have intense eyes.
That's right.
And people say it, and they're like, and I'll make sure that the first clip is me looking away and then looking right at the camera. So it's like the psychology of somebody looking away from you, then I'm telling you a story. I'm right here. And I'll be like here. So it's like, it's intense. And I do the thing the same way you made me take the thumbnail out of the top of my eyes.
Go to shorts. Go to our shorts.
That's smart.
And I make sure it's intense. And like, just start off with just like, you feel like I'm looking at you.
Do you notice a difference in when you look away and then start versus just starting straight?
If it starts off happy-go-lucky and not intense, they don't do as well.
Right.
That's what I noticed.
No, I'm talking about if you just started real intense or versus here and then going. Nothing really. Crazy.
Nothing really. Nothing really. Yeah.
Yeah, the intense drags them in.
Yeah, I also noticed that. More amateur-looking podcast clips do better.
Dude, I was just gonna say this before. We live in a day and age now with TikTok. It's this frustrating balance of less is more, but understand exactly what you have to be doing. Nobody wants to see this like perfect. You know, if you, it's like, oh, you're trying way too hard, dude. I'm not gonna like this thing. You want to see people using text on the TikTok app. You want to see them kind of fucking up word. I've spelled things wrong just because then I get comments.
It's real.
They're like, oh, sick fucking way to spell that word.
Bro, we put mistakes in our story so they correct us.
Yeah, dude, it's smart.
Well, that's engagement harvesting. I like that.
We did this.
That's smart.
We did this one that started off as a true story. It was a kidnapping story, right? So it started off as a true story where this dude almost got me and my sister at a Subway, right? He was just a creepy old dude with like really soft hands, right?
Wow.
True story, happened to us.
You felt them?
He shook my hand. He's like, and what's your name, young man? And I was like, David. You know, I just lied to his face. But we made that seem like he honed in on me. And then when we extended it, that he like actually eventually kidnapped me. And it was this whole creepy thing where he was keeping me captive in my local park district, right? In there, I put the way that I got out is that I found a Game Boy Advance that was in a lost and found bin in there. And it had a messenger thing in it. Right? So the Game Boy Advance used to have a messenger thing. And that's how I got the word out to my friend. We played Pokemon.
Resume this time.
Lost and found bin in there, and it had a messenger thing in it. Right? So the Game Boy Advance used to have a messenger thing, and that's how I got the word out to my friend. We played Pokemon together, so I was able to do that. So that was the climax of me escaping from that story. But I said that he was forcing me to play the Game Boy, and he had an infatuation with watching me play. So he would sit there at the edge of the cage, rub his belly with lotion. That's how his hands got so soft. Creepy. But the Game Boy game was Game Boy Yellow. It was Pokemon Yellow, right? You play Pokemon Yellow?
No, but I know, yeah.
You don't get to choose your starter Pokemon. It's Pikachu. And I said I chose Charmander. Yeah, complete liar. You didn't get to choose your starter Pokemon in Pokemon Yellow because it's a, you know, like it's a cultural moment in time where people remember, like, no, when it's Pokemon Yellow, I got
People
Pikachu.
want to be right.
And they're like, you're a dumb as shit.
They want to be right so bad. They want to be like, I know this and you don't.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I'll be like, we showed up to this place. It was me, this person, and this person. So 3 people all together. And then I go, and I'll say like 4 people walk back.
You do that on purpose.
You said that there was 3 people there. Just so they're like, you're dumb as shit. It was 4 people. This kid's definitely lying.
See, the problem works really well for him. If we did that, now we're spreading misinformation. Like if I was like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, here's how to make a Negroni, and I like completely fucked it up. Now people walk around like, well, Johnny drinks told me to fucking make it like this, and now you're an idiot.
Yeah.
But you're telling
stories.
so
It's amazing. You can't go out and be like, this is how to do something.
That's
This is what I
right.
learned because it's fucking fake.
I can't be like, you know, saying that which president is
Yeah,
has it
exactly.
wrong.
It doesn't be wrong.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, no, you're just that's a really good strategy.
Yeah. It's we noticed it one time, and I was like, oh, we're doing this forever now.
I love that.
Right? And I wanted to bring this up because we brought up James Fox.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Jeremy Corbell because he was the first dude that actually had a following that gave me the time of day. And
How so?
Before I was doing like interview style stuff, I didn't know where I was going with the content. I didn't know storytelling. And I was just the same way you guys reach out to people. You guys have the list of people that you're interested in. I was like, I like the UFO topic. Jeremy, I've seen him on some pods. And I emailed him and he emailed me back personally. He's like, yeah, I'll come on. And he was such a nice dude and he gave me 2 hours of his time. We had a great pod. I don't even think it's up anymore because I niched down my channel. But I just want to give him a shout out because he's a really good dude. And usually people with a platform, like I had nothing at the time. 0. Like I'm talking like 200 subs. And he's like, I'll give you 2 hours of my time.
I think about that often.
Wow.
Like I'm always trying to take the calls.
Wow.
I don't see all of them come in or
Yeah.
whatever. I answer DMs as much as I can. I answer a lot of emails because
Me too.
we're all, you know, you all start somewhere. And at one point you were that person. I never really did a lot of reach out to people because I figured they'd never answer. But like when people do, I'm like, all right, that takes balls to do that.
Yeah.
Let's go. We've had people in the studio that like George reached out. I was like, fuck yeah, come on in. You know what I mean?
I hope you guys feel it. Like once, like I called Alessi, really good dude, super cool. We're FaceTiming in my yard. He has a Doberman too. We love the same kind of dogs. I was like, I like this guy. And he was like, oh, Julian said, we'd like to have you on the pod. I'm like, cool. We booked a flight 2 days later.
That's
and
so
I wanted to make it as efficient as I possibly could for you guys. Like, hey, this is when we could do it. Let's get this done because I know how hard it is to reaching out.
No,
like,
I
to
appreciate
guests.
you doing it too because like we ramped up the volume of podcasts and like I used to cover all the travel for everyone, but now it's like some if they're coming from really far, like we'll get it or something like that. But you know, having people come in here and being able to take time out of their day to do that, I really appreciate it. Makes this thing go.
And being here, we'll probably do a story here. We'll probably figure it out. Like
There's a lot of stories. So walk along Sinatra Drive, you'll see it.
yeah.
Oh my god. And then walk inland Hoboken and you'll see some stories for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll take you down the street.
We want to start traveling and doing this, like wherever the story takes place, we want to shoot it there.
That's smart.
Ooh, I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Hold
go
that
right-
thought.
yeah, go
Hold
to
that thought for 1 minute. I just gotta go to the bathroom.
Cool.
We'll be right back.
Yeah, but it's forgiveness with like, I feel like the behind it is much more angry than forgiveness. Because I'm like, you're fucked.
But it's their loss.
Yeah,
That's the
if you're
point.
willing to fuck someone like me over who only gave you opportunity.
Dude, I'm with you 100%. We're back
Yeah.
on now.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I mean, like sometimes I'll get. We were just talking off camera about people who fuck you over, but like sometimes, you know, I mean, unless he sees me, I'll get really pissed off when someone does something. But it's a good thing they're not standing there.
Yeah.
You know, because then I'll simmer down. You've seen it too. I'll simmer down a little bit. And I'm like, you know what? Whatever. I said, look, God bless. That's the end of it. Because if you let it continue to take up a spot in your mind, well, now they are winning some. They're not even trying to win.
Yeah. I don't have time for that. You know, like, we've been through a lot of struggles. She's from a worse part of Chicago than I am. You know, and we finally just got out of it. You know, like, my life is so different today than it was last year. And every day I wake up, I live in a house that I pay for, that I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to, like, literally this time last year, I was commuting on an Unagi scooter in the middle of winter to the Loop on public transportation in Chicago, eyelashes completely covered in ice, closed, because it was the only money, it was the only thing that I had. I couldn't afford a car. And I had to take this scooter, get on a train, and scoot in the middle of winter with ice to this job that I had to work at 6 days a week. Jesus. And today, I live in a house.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Not anymore. And what could this person do to me that is going to get me out of the happiness that I'm in? They can't. There's nothing you could do. If you try to hit me, that's it. Like, I'll handle it, but it's like, I won't even follow up. I don't care.
Right.
I don't even have time for an
You
argument.
also know you could destroy him too because you're good at jujitsu.
I haven't trained in a while.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh my gracious. Look here, we're going to end it here, man. Do a part 2. This is some amazing stuff, man. I got to let my YouTube course, I'm going to break down some of the things that he's saying. But it's interesting how you make a mistake on purpose, so to speak, so somebody can leave a comment. Wow, I never thought about that. You know, and it's funny because when I accidentally made a mistake, so many people have actually came to me and actually said, that's wrong. I'm like, oh, it is wrong? I'm sorry. But I never noticed that you get a heck of a lot more engagement. YouTube is all about engagement and stuff, man. So now the more I'm learning, the more I learn, the more I go to the next phase. The last phase is, okay, you learned it. Now, how can you implement it into your YouTube channels? Think about that while I get on up out of here. Hey, stay tuned for part 2. Y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.